Hello, how is everyone doing? So, this is gonna be an interesting video because I just thought to make a video on the lessons that I have learned from my situationships. So, I will be discussing a few things or maybe a lot of the things because that's all situationships do. They only teach you lessons because प्यार तो वहाँ मिलता नहीं है. So, the way I have decided to do this is I'll make this as a story time video and share as much as information as I feel comfortable in or without like compromising anyone's privacy, and then I'll take a pause and reflect back on the things that I could have done better. So basically my focus in this video or in this series would be on my role in the situationships. Maybe I'll also mention the other person's role in it, of course, like the red flags, but for this video I'm trying to focus more on what could I have done better. So yeah, let's get started. So the way it started was, this was an online thing which is like so predictable in today's world. So it started online and it didn't start off as someone sending like flirty text or something like that. It started off as, I remember I had an Instagram story in which there was like maybe a hobby that I was pursuing at that time, and I was trying to get some help or ask for some information in my story, and then this guy just replied to my story saying that DM me. So it started off like that. So it started off with that. Then we had a conversation and it was quite a decent conversation because it was a similar hobby, like we both like to do that thing. So I didn't think much about the conversation, and when I checked his profile he had a couple of things up there like the hobbies he had or the things he used to do, and there were stuff that he had on his profile. And back then what I used to do, I used to just make this image of someone in my mind on the basis of their profile, which might be a natural thing to do, but now when I look back I just realized that it is so much better to know people in real life, in person. Those connections, like you might not need to necessarily agree, but what I have experienced is getting to know someone in real life is probably so much better than knowing their social media self. But yeah, I think I just made an image of him from his profile and I liked the person he was showing up to be there. So I think now I have realized that okay, you just need to keep in mind that there is a lot more to the person, and when you are like, I just, when I look back now, I just realized that I don't necessarily need to beat myself up for these things because I think this is just a phase and everyone just grows out of it as you get older and you just understand things better. So yeah, but that was a thing that I used to do a lot. Like I used to make images of people in my mind based on their profile, but I think getting to know them in the real life should be like, now I would think that it should be necessary before getting into something serious with them. So yeah, this was it. After that I think he contacted me again after a couple of days because we were doing this group project, maybe, I think, yeah. So we started talking. So initially when we were talking, I really liked talking to this person, and in my mind there was nothing, like I liked him on the basis of his profile, but it was not something romantic initially. And then we kind of started talking once in a while, and he did mention about his ex. Like I remember we were having this conversation, I don't exactly remember the details, but I did remember him mentioning about his ex. Like this was very initially, and at that time it was not a rant, so it was not like that he was ranting about his ex. But then after a couple of days again we had a conversation, and he did mention that he has recently gone through a breakup and that relationship was quite serious and it was a long relationship. But still, like I don't have an idea of how much stuck he's still on his ex, because he didn't talk about her much, but maybe it was also due to like we were not really friends, but I don't know. Then we started talking frequently and we kind of became friends. So yeah, we started talking frequently, and at that point in life, like I'll make a separate video on this whole topic, why I was so obsessed with love in my life. I still am, maybe, like I don't know, but this obsession around love, this desperate need to be in a relationship, to be loved, it has a lot of reasons that took me a very long time to figure out. But at that time also, in my mind, the idea was like a relationship or love can solve every problem in my life, which is not at all the truth. But I used to be like so obsessed with love at that point, and it was also due to the fact that in my life I didn't really had things that fulfill me. Like my life was not something that I looked forward to, if that makes sense, because my entire focus was on love, and I used to think that once I get love, once I'm in a relationship, then everything in my life will be sorted. Like it was the mindset back then. So that at that point I was this person. So we have started talking more frequently, and as we are talking more, I'm starting to like this person. Now, the problem with me is that whenever I see a couple of good qualities in someone, like qualities that I find to be attractive, I automatically put this person on pedestal and make them someone like 100 times better, which is not at all healthy. There is also this term called limerence, in which you just like you see a person but you just kind of project onto them the good qualities. So it could be like you don't really know them, but you have seen a couple of good qualities and then you just make this image of them in your mind, which definitely is not the truth, because everyone has flaws. So as we are talking more, I'm starting to like this person, but that liking kind of, so I don't know this person well. Okay, I am only talking to this person through texting, and that too for a couple of months, like couple of weeks maybe. I'm not really sure, but then I'm starting to like them more. But the issue was I'm putting them on a pedestal too. So until now, I'll just reflect back on the lessons. Now, number one lesson is, as I said, when you see someone online or when you just don't know them well, do not ever put them on a pedestal. Like, do not put them on a pedestal, and I'll repeat this, because it will create a version in your mind, a version that will, because in the beginning सब अच्छे होते हैं, ठीक है, कौन बुरा बनेगा तुम्हारे सामने starting में. In the beginning everyone will be good to you, everyone is at their best behavior, be it like deliberately या फिर it's just a human instinct to do so, but you need to know the other person well. And liking someone is okay, it's fine, but if you really know what I'm talking about, when you just become obsessed with someone and you just see them, like, I think that is also a sign of maybe low self-esteem, maybe, like, I'm not really sure, maybe I'll also make a video about it. But the fact is, you don't know them. Okay, if you are getting to know someone online, just keep in mind you have not met them in real person, which is extremely important, or for me at least. Like, you don't need to agree, but just make sure to know this person well, because once you get stuck in that putting up that person on the pedestal wala loop, then there is no going back. And what if you, this is such a risky scenario, because it could be like, okay, this person actually turns out to be a good person, well, good and well, then for you it's amazing. But if they don't, then the real version of them is really gonna disappoint you and keep you in this loop of, like, you can get stuck in the fantasy version of them, if that's the right word. Yeah, so this is the number one thing. Do not just conclude on the basis of a few initial interactions who this person is. Try to really get to know them, and that could, like, being patient and just taking your time could help so much, because then you will actually know them for who they are. So number one thing is this. Then I'll just continue with the story. Now, as I mentioned, I used to be very, like, I used to feel this desperate need for love is the term that I would like to use. And I'm not, like, I won't, it feels so bad calling myself desperate for love, because when I really figured out, I really had the reasons. Like, there could be a lot of reasons for you being obsessed with love. So at times if you hate yourself for it, because I know a lot of people and a lot of friends who have kind of have this need and they just hate themselves for it, but they also can't figure out like why is this or how is this. I will just tell you with all the love that do not hate yourself for it, just try to understand it. So when you have this need, and you will know that feeling, if you have been there you will know that feeling, and it is fueled by a lot of things. It is fueled by loneliness, it is fueled by if you are going through a stressful situation, it is fueled by if you are not finding your work to be fulfilled. All this, at least for me, it kind of led me to find comfort in love. So I used to feel this void within that I need to find someone. And especially when you see someone whom you think can be a good partner, someone with whom you are just vibing so good, then this void just, or this need for that connection intensifies. So that's what happened. And another thing that I would like to mention, when I now look back, it's just that we were friends, and that friendship was kind of on the same page for the most part. Like if I used to text, then I used to get the replies. It was not like that he was leaving me on scene or he's not replying. But one thing that I noticed was my entire world used to revolve around that friendship or whatever the connection you can call it. And for this person, it was not like that. When I look back now, I kind of realized that for him, he was also trying to find an escape after the breakup, but he also had his own life. So he had a lot of things he used to do. He had hobbies, he used to enjoy his work, and but for me internally it was kind of, I never said this to that person, but it was very relevant now when I look back, because the kind of energy you are in, even if you don't say it to the other person as a soundness, but it is very obvious. Like believe me, it is very obvious. So for me, my entire world used to revolve around this person, and the only good part in my day used to be texting with this person. And there are a lot of reasons for that too, because it kind of gives you this validation, attention, and if you don't feel good about yourself, then there are a lot of things that goes beneath that. So I didn't know how serious is this breakup, as we never really talked about his ex. Like he just mentioned a couple of times and that's it. And then one day I just decided to tell him that I like him. I don't know what kind of reaction I was expecting, but I just thought to do it, and I just told him that I like you. He was not taken aback, but his reaction was kind of neutral. And in this whole series, you will kind of observe that from his side, the reaction would always be kind of like, as I said, for me, my entire life is revolving around him, but for him, I'm just a part of his life. Maybe not even a part, maybe just, I don't know, like someone he like. I can't really speak for him, and as I have my perspective, I'm sure he has it too, and I have tried to reflect on the things that I think I need to work on, because it goes both ways. So there could have been a lot of red flags in him, but there are a lot of things that I need to work on too, I believe, and maybe there were a lot of red flags in me too. So yeah, I just tell this person that I think I like you, and his reaction was kind of neutral. Like when I say neutral, I just mean that he just told me that he's not looking for a relationship because he has just gone through a breakup, and it sounds so stupid, but I should have understood when he mentioned it a couple of times. But yeah, I don't know what was going on in my head. I never take that seriously, but he just told me that he is not in a position to be like pursue anything romantic, and then he just told me that he never saw me like that. He just sees me as a friend. So when he just told me that he does not see me as, like, he only sees me as a friend and he's not in a place to get romantically involved, then my reaction to that was, it's fine, we can be friends. Why Why would you do that to your own self? Now I'll also tell you what in my mind, the beliefs that was so weird, I don't know, weird or like so messed up. The belief that I had in my mind was, maybe if we continue to be friends, maybe if we continue to talk, he'll see one day how amazing I am, maybe he'll choose me one day then, or he'll just change his mind and something can actually happen here. Very big mistake, huge mistake you can do. So on this note, I'll resume the story in the other parts as this video is getting just too long. So I'll mention the lessons until now. Number one we already talked about. Number two would be, of course, getting into something or seeking a relationship from this place of void, from this place of like, a relationship is my only source of happiness. And when you think about it, what it can do is like, this person can literally be going out and like they could be living their life and you could just be a part of their life, or you could even not be that, you could be just their backup, like I don't know, but your entire life will revolve around this person. Let's say you get into a relationship, okay, let's even say that, but would it be healthy that your entire life in an unhealthy way, okay, I know that relationships are like very, relationships could be very like two people who are very close to each other and they share everything, but this could be very unhealthy when your entire life just revolves around this person. It could be unhealthy in so many ways because that person could feel the pressure of making you happy, because oftentimes you put that pressure on someone else to make you happy. Like there are a lot of reasons to it, but entering a relationship from this place of void, and when you are just making your entire source of happiness, your entire world, you are making this relationship that, then it could be very problematic, I think. Number three would be giving someone else the power to choose you. Why would you ever give someone the power to choose you? That is irrelevant. Now when I look back, I just realize we all are worthy inherently, and I don't think so someone should have that power to choose you. You should choose your own self. And why, like, why am I thinking in this scenario, why was I thinking that I need him to choose me? I'll tell you why. Because I thought, because there was a sense of unworthiness, and I thought, if this guy, a guy whom I'm putting on a pedestal, so if this guy would choose me, then I should definitely be worthy. But when I thought about it later, I just realized that, will it ever be a genuine connection if it starts this way? If you are trying to get your worth from someone else, like, will you ever love that person for who they are? Because I just realized that in this case, my motivation was to feel worthy, and I did like this person. It was not like that I was entirely talking to him because I needed attention or because I needed to feel good about myself. That was not the entire reason. I did like him as a person, and I do know that that's the whole video about. Like, I do understand that there were a lot of red flags in me too, maybe, or if not red flags, like I don't know, but there were definitely a lot of things that I needed to work on, and maybe still I need to work on them. And I would say I just didn't know any better, and maybe I still don't, maybe I'm still learning. I will always be learning, everyone is always learning. So yeah, I'm just trying to not be too harsh on myself and treat myself with compassion. And I know there might definitely be things that I need to work on, maybe red flags that I have or had, because these behaviors, like, so in this case, like when I was trying to go after this connection, it was not like that I was consciously trying to manipulate someone or do anything bad to someone, but it was definitely coming from a healthy place. Like, it wasn't healthy because the core beliefs that I had were kind of limiting. So unintentionally also, like, I think you can make mistakes when you are just not aware of your own self. And yeah, I think reflecting just helps because everyone has flaws. And yeah, so I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.